Have you ever found yourself wondering what it takes for someone to think about you all the time? It's like they suddenly have this light bulb moment, realizing that the person they didn't appreciate enough is actually super important to them. Picture this. It's like a puppet show where they just noticed their favorite puppet has vanished from the stage. When you finally decide to stop being their puppet and start focusing on your own happiness, something truly magical happens. As you pull away and invest in your own growth, they begin to feel that emptiness where you once were. This isn't about ignoring them or being petty. It's about reclaiming your power and standing tall in your own life. They start to realize that having you around was so much more than just a nice addition. It brought them real comfort and joy. Imagine them going through their daily routine only to suddenly realize they haven't heard your voice in ages or received a message from you. Everything feels just a little bit colder, a little less vibrant. Maybe they try to distract themselves by hanging out with other friends or diving into new activities. But let's be real. Nothing feels quite right without you in the picture. It's like a wake-up call for them. In those quiet moments when they find themselves alone with their thoughts, that's when the realization starts to hit them hard. Your absence becomes a mirror, reflecting all the ways they didn't truly appreciate you when you were there, shining brightly in their lives. And now that you're gone, it weighs on them more than they ever expected. You know that saying, "Absence makes the heart grow fonder"? It's spot on. When you take a step back, you're giving them the chance to really feel how heavy your absence is and grasp what they've lost. Sometimes it's only when we're not around that people can finally see our true value. Now, from a Stoic perspective, this is a perfect example of practicing detachment. Stoicism teaches us that we shouldn't base our self-worth on others' opinions or treatment. By focusing on your own growth and well-being, you embody the Stoic ideal of self-reliance. Think about it. How often do we take people for granted when they're always there? But when you create that distance, it's like opening their eyes to a new reality. They begin to remember the little things, the way you made them laugh, the comfort of your support, and how you always knew the right thing to say. Those memories flood back, and suddenly, they realize how empty their days feel without you. This isn't just a longing, it's a valuable lesson for both of you. You teach them the importance of appreciating those around us, while you learn to value yourself beyond anyone else's recognition. So, as you stand strong in your own journey, keep that Stoic mindset at the forefront. Your value isn't determined by their acknowledgement, but by the growth and wisdom you cultivate within yourself. So, my Stoic friends, let's kick things off with today's powerful affirmation. I am highly valuable. Let's say it together, loud and proud. Type it in the comments and let the world know you recognize your worth. You're not just someone they can overlook anymore. You're standing strong and confident in who you are, and that deserves to be celebrated. Now, before we dive into why they might want to reconnect after you've created some space, let's hit pause for a moment. This part is super important, so I want you to really focus. Imagine you've stepped back and created a little distance between you and them. What happens next? Is that enough to change everything? Not quite. At the start of this video, I mentioned that you're taking this time to focus on yourself. That's essential. But here's the thing. If you think that just walking away is the end of the story, you might be missing a key point. Sure, they might start to miss you, but that only happens if there's already a spark of love or appreciation in their hearts. But what if that spark was never there in the first place? What if they only miss how convenient you were for them, like a puppet they could easily control? Here's the tough pill to swallow. If they treated you poorly, then they likely didn't truly value you. If they didn't appreciate you while you were around, your absence might not hit them as hard as you hoped it would. So, what's next? Is it game over for you? Absolutely not. The reasons I'm about to share can ignite that craving for your presence again. But here's the trick. These reasons will only be effective if you truly understand them and let them guide you moving forward. This is your chance to light that spark in their hearts and flip the script. Now that you have a clearer perspective, let's explore the part you've been waiting for, the reasons why they might come back wanting you in their lives again. And remember, each of these reasons is crucial in transforming their indifference into a genuine desire to reconnect. So let's take this journey together. But before we dive in, just take a quick moment to check if you're subscribed to the channel. We've got a series of upcoming videos packed with tips to help you improve your life. So, let's get started. Number 1. The shock of unexpected growth. This is where things get exciting. I need you to pay close attention because this is the game changer. Imagine this. You've stepped back from someone who used to treat you like their personal puppet, someone who didn't really appreciate you. They thought you'd always be there, just waiting for their call. But what if, instead of fading away, you come back as a completely new person, someone they hardly recognize because you've grown so much? That's when things get really interesting. When you take time for yourself, not just to create distance, but to truly improve yourself, you're doing something amazing. You're taking control of your own story. You're no longer letting someone else decide your worth. Instead, you're investing in your growth, mentally, physically, emotionally, and even spiritually. That's where the magic happens. At first, they might not notice right away. They could think, oh, they'll come back, or it's just a phase. But then they start to see the changes in you and it hits them like a surprise. They were expecting the old you to come crawling back, but instead they find a stronger, more confident you. That's the shock factor. So, why does this surprise matter so much? It's simple. People want what they can't have and what they don't fully understand. When you show up as someone who has unexpectedly grown, they realize they can't just figure you out anymore. You've completely changed their view of you, and now they're left feeling a bit lost and unsure. That shift in power is huge. It makes them see you in a whole new way. As the wise philosopher Heraclitus once said, "The only constant in life is change." When you embrace change and focus on your own growth, you're not just changing, you're becoming someone people can't ignore. Let's think about a situation. Imagine you've been in a relationship where your partner started taking you for granted. They knew all your habits and routines and got a bit too comfy, thinking you'd always be there for them. But then you decide enough is enough. You take a step back, not just to create space, but to totally reinvent yourself. You hit the gym, pick up new hobbies, start reading more, and maybe even explore new career paths. You're doing this for you, to become the best version of yourself. Fast forward a few months, and you bump into them at a friend's gathering. They're expecting the same old you, but instead, they see someone who looks more confident, happier, and at peace. You're glowing with a new energy that's hard to miss. They're shocked, maybe even a little intimidated. This is that unexpected growth they never saw coming, and now they're left wondering what else they've missed about you. And let's be honest, there's a funny side to this too. It's like when you haven't seen a friend in a while, and suddenly they show up with a six-pack, a cool new haircut, and a swagger you've never seen before. You're thinking, wait, when did this happen? It's funny, but it's also a little humbling because it reminds us that people are always changing and growing, often when we least expect it. The same thing happens in relationships. When someone thinks they have you all figured out, they stop really paying attention and get a bit lazy. But when you shake things up by growing and changing, it's like hitting a reset button. Suddenly they're curious, intrigued, and maybe even a little jealous of the new you. This reminds me of a wise quote from Marcus Aurelius. "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This quote is super important because it speaks directly to what we're talking about. Your growth and transformation are all in your control. You can't change how others see or treat you, but you can change how you see yourself and how you learn from your experiences. When you focus on self-improvement during that time apart, you're not just sitting around, you're taking charge of your life. This inner strength is what makes you so attractive. When you come back into their view, they'll see you're not the same person who left. You're stronger, more confident, and way more interesting. So, what's the big lesson here? Never underestimate the power of your own growth. When you take time to work on becoming the best version of yourself, the impact is huge. You're no longer just the person they used to know. You've evolved beyond what they expected. Now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me how you plan to surprise someone with your amazing growth. What steps are you taking to become the best version of yourself? Remember, this journey isn't just about proving something to others. It's about proving it to yourself. You have the power to change, grow, and become someone even you didn't expect. So, are you ready to embrace this journey? Are you ready to let your amazing transformation be the surprise they never saw coming? Let's do this together. Stay strong, keep growing, and watch as they come back craving the new and improved you. Now let's dive into the second reason why they'll start missing you after you've taken a step back: the magnetic pull of self-sufficiency. This idea is super powerful because it taps into something deep inside all of us: the irresistible attraction to someone who doesn't need anyone else to feel complete. Imagine this. You've stepped back from a relationship where you were always the one reaching out, making sure everything was okay. But now, you've shifted your focus inward. Instead of looking to others for validation, you're learning to validate yourself. You've become self-sufficient, independent, and you're thriving all on your own. And let me tell you, there's nothing more attractive than that. When you show you can stand on your own 2 feet, you send a clear message. I'm not here because I need you. I'm here because I choose to be. This shift in mindset is incredibly appealing because it shows you don't depend on anyone else for your happiness or self-worth. People are naturally drawn to those who radiate confidence and independence, and your self-sufficiency becomes a magnet that pulls them in. Think about it. When someone is always chasing after you, it's easy to take them for granted. But when they step back and start focusing on their own growth, you begin to see them in a new way. Suddenly, they're not just the person who's always around. They become someone who's comfortable in their own skin and doesn't need anyone else to feel complete. And that, my friends, is super compelling. Isn't it funny? The more you focus on yourself, the more others want to be near you. It's like when you walk into a room with your head held high, feeling confident. People notice and are drawn to your positive energy. They start to wonder what has changed about you. Let's say you've been in a friendship where you were always the one giving your time, energy, and support. But now you decide to take a step back and focus on your own needs. You start doing things that make you happy, maybe hitting the gym, picking up a new hobby, or just enjoying some quiet time alone. You're no longer waiting for their calls or texts because you're too busy living your best life. Fast forward a few weeks, and you notice something interesting. That friend who once seemed indifferent is suddenly more interested in you. They're reaching out more, asking about your life and wanting to spend time with you. Why? Because your self-sufficiency makes you more attractive to them. They're drawn to the fact that you're thriving on your own, and it creates a magnetic pull they just can't resist. This isn't about playing hard to get or tricking anyone. It's about truly becoming self-sufficient and letting your inner strength shine. When you're no longer relying on others for your happiness, you become someone worth craving. Someone people want to be around not because they have to, but because they're genuinely drawn to your energy. As the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche once said, "He who has a why to live can bear anyhow." Your why becomes all about your own growth, happiness, and self-sufficiency. When you live with that purpose, it shines outwards, creating a magnetic pull that others can't help but notice. So here's the big takeaway. Self-sufficiency isn't just about being independent, it's about being whole within yourself. When you focus on your own growth, you naturally become more attractive to others because you're not looking for their validation. You're happy in your own company, and that happiness is magnetic. People will start craving your presence, not because they think you need them, but because they see the strength and independence you've built while they were gone. Now, how are you planning to cultivate your own self-sufficiency? What steps are you taking to become the best version of yourself? Remember, this isn't about cutting people off. It's about building yourself up. That way, when people come into your life, they'll be drawn to you for all the right reasons. Watch as they can't help but crave the empowered, self-sufficient person you're becoming. Let's move on to the next part. But before we do, I noticed you haven't hit that like button yet. It's really important because it helps YouTube show our videos to more people and keeps our content coming your way. So go ahead and give it a thumbs up. It's free and it means a lot. Thanks, and let's keep going. All right, I need your full attention now because we're diving into the exciting part of the video. Trust me, this is where things get really interesting. So stay focused. After all, you've come this far, and it's time to dig into something that could really change your perspective. Let's talk about the third reason why people start craving your presence after you give them some distance: the envy of your newfound confidence. This is a big deal because it taps into a feeling we all experience: envy. But wait, this isn't the bad kind of envy. It's the kind that mixes admiration with a bit of jealousy, making people sit up and notice how amazing you've become. Picture this. You've taken time to work on yourself and grow. Now, you're strutting around with a confidence that's hard to ignore. You're not the unsure person anymore, always looking for others' approval. Instead, you walk into a room with your head held high, knowing your worth and taking up space. And let me tell you, confidence like that is not just attractive. It can be a little intimidating too. When you take a step back from someone who didn't appreciate you and focus on building your confidence, something amazing happens. They start to see you in a whole new way. They notice how you carry yourself with pride, how you speak with certainty, and how comfortable you are just being you. That kind of confidence is super attractive. It makes them wonder, how did I not see this before? You see, confidence shows that you believe in yourself and don't need anyone else's approval. When they notice this, they might feel a little envious, but not in a mean way. Instead, it makes them want what you have. Let's imagine a scenario. You were in a relationship where your partner always seemed so confident, making all the decisions while you went along with everything. But now, after spending time working on yourself, you've become stronger and more self-assured. The next time you see them, they can't help but notice the change. You're standing tall, sharing your thoughts openly, and your confidence is shining bright. They might smile and act happy for you, but deep down there's a little voice saying, "Wow, I wish I had that kind of confidence." And that's where the envy starts to bubble up. Your new confidence doesn't just change how they see you, it changes how they feel about themselves too. They start to notice that they've been relying on their own confidence while taking your insecurities for granted. But now, it's like the game has changed. You're not the unsure person they once knew. You've grown and transformed into someone truly amazing. Isn't there something magical about confidence? It can shift how people view you and create a pull that's hard to ignore. When you're confident, you not only change how others see you, but you also change your own self-image, and that change is super noticeable to everyone around you. As the wise Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "Self-trust is the first secret of success." Your newfound confidence comes from trusting yourself, believing you're capable, worthy, and deserving of all the good things in life. When you truly believe in yourself, you don't need anyone else's approval, and that's where real confidence shines. So how does this boost in confidence make them want to be around you more? It's simple. They start to see that the power has shifted. You're no longer seeking their reassurance or approval. You're confidently walking your own path, proud of who you are and what you bring to the table. This change is both exciting and a little intimidating for them. They start to feel a bit envious of the confidence you've built, and in that envy, they find themselves wanting to be part of your life again. But this time, things are different. Here's the key point. Confidence is like a magnet. When you build it within yourself, you not only change your own life, but you also change how others see you. They begin to crave the new, confident you because it's something they admire and aspire to. So, how are you working on boosting your confidence? What steps are you taking to trust yourself, just like Emerson said? Remember, confidence isn't about being perfect. It's about embracing your quirks and moving boldly toward your dreams. Let's keep growing, building, and shining with that newfound confidence that makes others sit up and take notice. Now let's dive into the fourth reason why they'll start craving your presence after you've taken some space. The intrigue of unpredictability. This one is really exciting because it plays on the thrill of the unknown. Think about it. For a long time, they thought they had you all figured out. You were reliable, predictable, always there when they needed you. They knew your habits and how you would respond in different situations. But now that you've stepped back and focused on yourself, you've become a bit of a mystery. Suddenly, you're not as easy to read, and that's where the intrigue starts. Unpredictability is super exciting because it shakes things up. It makes people curious and wonder what's happening in your life. When you were always around and doing the same old things, they didn't have to think twice about you. But now, every little thing you do feels fresh, different, and even a bit mysterious. Think about it. People love surprises. It's like watching a movie with a twist that catches you off guard. It keeps you glued to your seat, eager for more. When you stop being so predictable, people start to really notice you. They begin to ask themselves, what's going on with them? Why aren't they acting like they used to? That curiosity can become really addictive. For example, imagine you were always the one making plans with a friend. They got used to you being the one to organize everything. But now, you've taken a step back. You're still there, but you're not rushing to make plans anymore. Instead, you're exploring new hobbies and doing your own thing. Suddenly, they start to wonder, why aren't they reaching out? What are they up to? That little bit of uncertainty makes them think about you more and creates a cool sense of intrigue that wasn't there before. Plus, being unpredictable gives you a sense of control over your life. When people can't guess what you'll do next, they get super curious. They'll start checking in, wanting to know what you're up to. It's like flipping the script. Instead of you wondering about them, now they're the ones thinking about you. That's a powerful place to be. As philosopher Alan Watts said, the only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it. So by embracing change and being a little unpredictable, you're not just going with the flow, you're leading the way. This unpredictability makes you interesting again. People want to understand the new you, and that keeps them thinking about you more and more. So how are you bringing unpredictability into your life? What fun changes are you making that keep others guessing? Remember, being unpredictable isn't about playing games, it's about growing and keeping life exciting. Now let's jump into the fifth reason why people will crave your presence after you've taken a step back. The realization of what they've lost. This one hits hard because it's that moment when they finally see just how much you mattered to them. They start to understand what they've missed out on by taking you for granted. Imagine this. You've taken a step back to focus on yourself and live your best life. Meanwhile, they're going about their usual routine, thinking you'll always be there like before. But as days turn into weeks, something starts to shift. They begin to notice your texts and calls are missing, and your presence is gone. At first, they might think it's not a big deal, but soon they realize things feel a bit emptier without you. This hits them hard. Suddenly, they remember all those little things you did that made their life brighter. Maybe it was the way you listened to their problems, made them laugh, or offered support whenever they needed it. They might have taken all that for granted when you were always there, but now, without you, it's painfully clear what they've lost. Here's the thing about loss. It often takes losing something to truly see how special it is. When you were always available, they didn't think about what life would be like without you. But now, with that distance, they're forced to confront the reality that maybe they were wrong to take you for granted. Think about it like this. Have you ever misplaced something really special, like a favorite piece of jewelry or a cherished toy? At first, you might not think much of it, but as time goes by, you start to miss it more and more. You wish you had taken better care of it or appreciated it when you had it. The same thing happens in relationships. When you step back, they begin to feel the absence of all the good things you brought into their lives. This realization can be powerful. It's not just about them feeling sad for losing you. It's about truly understanding what they've lost. They start to replay all those happy memories in their minds, the fun times, the support you offered, and the joy you brought. This reflection can open their eyes. Once they see what they've lost, they start craving that connection again. They want to feel that comfort and closeness that only you provided. But here's the twist. They know they can't just waltz back into your life like nothing happened. They realize they have to earn it back and prove they deserve a spot in your world again. As the saying goes, you don't know what you've got until it's gone. This sums up their realization perfectly. They took you for granted, and now they're feeling the consequences. But in that loss, they finally see you for who you truly are. Someone who brought so much value to their life. Someone they should never have let slip away. So what do you think will happen when the people in your life realize what they've lost? Have you ever had someone come back to you after they finally saw how valuable you are? It's important to remember that your worth doesn't go down just because someone didn't see it before. By taking a step back, you let them realize what they've lost and just how special you truly are. That's when they start craving your presence like never before. Now let's dive into the 6th reason they'll want you back: the desire to be part of your new journey. Imagine this. After you've focused on your own growth, you're no longer the same person they once knew. You've taken on new challenges and explored exciting interests, and they can see you blooming like a flower. As they watch your transformation, something changes inside them. They start to feel that they're missing out. They see how happy and fulfilled you are and want to be part of this thrilling new chapter in your life. It's like everyone else is on an amazing adventure, and they're stuck on the sidelines. Let's be real, nobody likes feeling left out. This desire isn't just about reconnecting, it's about wanting to join in on something exciting and new. So, how do you think they'll react to your incredible journey? Your journey becomes something they really want to be a part of. They start imagining how they can fit into this exciting new chapter of your life, sharing in your successes and supporting you as you take new steps. But here's the catch. They know they can't just waltz back in like nothing happened. They see you've moved forward, and if they want to join you, they'll need to step up their game. This realization sparks a fire in them. They want to be better and match the amazing version of you that you've become. So what does your new journey look like? How are you growing and evolving? I'd love to hear about the new paths you're exploring, so drop a comment below. Remember, when you focus on your own journey, you create a life that others naturally want to be part of. That's when they start craving your presence, not because of who you were, but because of who you're becoming. Now let's dive into the final reason why they might want you back: the fear of losing you to someone else. This one really hits home because it taps into something we all know: fear. It's that gut-wrenching worry that someone else might come along and see just how amazing you are, something they didn't fully appreciate when you were right in front of them. Imagine this scenario. You've taken a step back to focus on yourself. You're glowing with confidence, exploring new adventures and rediscovering what makes you happy. Picture them watching from a distance, and suddenly it hits them. What if someone else notices the incredible person you've become? The idea of you moving on with someone who truly values you fills them with anxiety. They begin to realize that they might lose you to someone who sees all the wonderful things they overlooked. Let's be honest, nobody enjoys the thought of watching someone they once cared about find happiness with someone else, right? It's like a punch to the gut. This fear can really make them reconsider how they treated you. They start to think, what if I let this amazing person slip away? The realization that they could lose you ignites a spark of urgency in them. It forces them to confront their own feelings and take a hard look at what they could lose if they don't step up and show you how much you truly mean to them. Think about it for a second. When you start investing in yourself, you naturally create a sense of value that's hard to ignore. You become the person everyone wants to be around. This transformation can be intoxicating, not just for you, but for them as well. They start craving your presence more than ever, not just because of who you were, but because of who you're becoming. So, what can you do with this knowledge? Embrace it. Celebrate your journey of self-discovery and growth. Share your experiences with your friends or your loved ones. Let them know how you're shining brighter every day. And who knows, by focusing on yourself, you might just remind them of the treasure they have in you. After all, when you recognize your own worth and let it radiate, it creates a magnetic pull that draws people back in. They start to realize that the amazing person they've been overlooking is right in front of them, and they don't want to let you go again. So keep shining, keep growing, and watch how it transforms not just your life, but the lives of those around you. We've come to the end of our journey together, and I really hope these tips help you out. Remember, you're an important part of this channel, so if this video made you think or helped you in any way, share your triumphs and challenges with us. Hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and drop a comment below. If you're unsure of what to say, just type "embracing challenges" to show you've made it through our journey. Your interaction helps fuel this community, guiding us all toward wisdom, understanding, and the art of turning every challenge into an opportunity. Here's to mastering the art of Stoic resilience together. Stay stoic.